ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About YouABQ.
Oh, that's right. It's season 4 of YouABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, lifestyle, so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests that you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out with our social media up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan specialist and expert.
You are an expert. You probably know this expert as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team. Now he's absolutely crushing it in interior design and mortgage rates.
Whoa, where have we seen this guy? Is it HGTV's House Hunters, or is it because he's the top 2% producing real estate agent in the city?
Listen to me, season 4, everyone wants some more.
Yeah, open the door, come on in.
Lay on the floor,
Yeah.
Momza. Anyways.
Sure.
Listen, so here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by another local celebrity. We're just reeling them in.
Yeah.
Gabe Salazar is going to tell his story about moving from Hawaii to San Diego to the southwest desert of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
It's actually everyone's transgression or migration. You eventually go from Hawaii to San Diego to here. Home, the Mecca of Hawaiians.
Man, Albuquerque. First of all, let's talk about the Lobos.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Everyone's a Lobo.
Yeah, see, the thing is, they traditionally break my heart like every sports team I had or the ones I've coached. They suck you in, you go watch, and then fizzle. This was the opposite. We kind of ramped up, took a dive, and then against all odds, won the Mountain West Conference.
We're talking about basketball. Shout out DJ Kirch in San Diego taking the big L.
Massacre. Hi, Kirchy. We beat the Aztecs 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah, no
nice
big
try,
deal.
Aztecs. Actually, let's give it up for them. They actually got I think they got a higher seed than us, or they made the tournament too. Utah State made the tournament. Colorado State made the tournament. Who else made the tournament? The Mountain West, I think, brought 4 or 5 teams in there, so we're showing pretty strong. And it behooves us, right, to have won the conference against some high-strength teams.
So we played, Clemson first round?
Clemson round, yeah, we're 11 seed. A lot of people, here's the deal. I love the Lobos. Here's my take on this. They go, oh my God, you know, it's political. They always job us. They always give us such a low seed. Let's be honest about our appearance in the post-tournament. We don't perform well. So let's prove them wrong. But at 11 seed, man, we lost to some kind of bad teams, and we squeaked in and making an appearance is, you know, 6 seed is actually a pretty good upset.
It's always fun to just be invited to the dance. And again, growing up here, everyone is a Lobo. So woof, woof, woof. We support them in the YouABQ podcast. Dude, what's been new with you, man? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so let me tell you something that I'm quickly trying to move up the things you anticipate in your 70s and 80s to now. I actually got my CPAP machine. I had sleep apnea. I snored. I wake up about 74 times. I kind of look like I'm swimming in my bed because I'm looking for some reprieve. But I actually am getting the best sleep of my life, and I feel great. I'm getting 7 hours. I think I had 25% of my sleep REM. Yeah, if you guys don't know about REM sleep, it's what you need. I actually got my little Apple Watch that measures it all. I'm feeling good.
We're talking about REM, allergies, and CPAPs. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned to season 4. So season 4, man, I can't believe we made it to season 4.
You know what? I'm going to pat ourselves in the back. I'm going to, we have, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm going to play the whole band right now. It's all about follow through. And I was having a conversation with Robbie Faith, and a great realtor in town. And he has a few clips and seminars he does, but we're talking about longevity. And I think everyone has an idea. It's great to have some follow through, and I think we season 4. We've had so many episodes now. I'm kind of proud of us.
Yeah, look at us. Look at us coming a long way. We got blue walls, purple
really
walls.
Beaming.
Steaming.
Keep the girls
screaming.
Yeah.
Let's keep the fans screaming.
Yeah. So we're gonna revamp it a little bit. This is kind of a surprise to Skip, but I'm gonna alternate mortgage minutes with. We get a lot of feedback on Grant's Rants.
Look, I told you from the jump, man. Grant's Rants were mind-blowing.
Yeah, stop helping people with mortgages and really let's get into the punchlines of society. So
we can jump into Grant's Rants. I was going to dive into a quick current event. You know, we always talk about downtown Albuquerque and, you know, how we've been slow to kind of turn it into something desirable, right?
Yeah.
People come in from out of state and they go, wow, what the hell is going on with your downtown?
well, here's where you bring your spray paint.
Yeah, here's where you dump your trash. City of Albuquerque aims to create a new framework for downtown improvement after 20 years of focusing on making the area more inviting and family-oriented. So basically, Downtown 2025 Plan Overview. This plan aims to transform downtown Albuquerque into the best mid-sized downtown in the USA by implementing strategies such as prioritizing pedestrian-friendly infrastructure and enhancing urban living spaces.
Okay, so I think there's obviously a bunch of naysayers. We have some crybabies in this town. We also have a lot of yes people who make things happen. I think it'll happen. I think that there'll be enough willingness, and if you put some money and effort and I guess faith in this, I think we're going to turn it out.
Well, here's where we've always fallen short is downtown residents, right? If we don't have a lot of people living downtown, then we don't have a lot of people taking pride in our downtown. Like, why would we develop a place that I never even go anyway?
Sure.
So one of the main crux is trying to develop more properties downtown, bring people downtown to live, work, and I think that will bring just new life, new industry downtown.
And you know, this goes back to the back east thing, and this is kind of the birth of Soho. Not that, you know, we're trying to duplicate New York, but there were a lot of naysayers when Soho happened, and Soho was a revitalization, and there was a bunch of opposition saying this will never work. Look what it is, and you had some money and backers and work and effort and getting a faith-based system. And I mean, again, not that we're going to try to be the new Soho, but that was the birth of that.
No, we do have some big plans, though, and I think with the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency, the MRA, as we're calling it, not just the vaccine anymore, but the MRA is going to be making some big changes, and so, you know, we're big fans. We're actually a huge anchor here downtown. I don't know if you know this, but our studio is located in downtown Albuquerque. So
Skip and I are like, you know, metamorphically like, you know,
I am kind of the face of downtown Albuquerque now.
I've seen you under the bridges.
Yeah, that's you. You're the guy
painted under the bridges.
You're the guy sleeping on the street,
Yeah.
aren't you? All right. Well, you know, as we're kind of getting into the end here of segment one, is this where you envision we take out Mortgage Minute and insert?
We will have Mortgage Minute, but we're going to mix it up. We're going to maybe alternate Mortgage Minutes with Grant's Rants, since again we had some huge influx of positive feedback.
Yeah,
so
huge comments online.
Let's get into that. So Grant's Rants, the vision of Grant's Rants is kind of an unguided missile that's going to make some kind of impact. So I don't know where it's quite headed, but we'll start with social observations. And I would kind of compare myself to a Larry David in life that, you know, I tolerate the public and I love people, but here's a situation that I want to talk about. I want to talk about waiting in line, grocery store, post office, and some tactics you can use. Now, I've noticed when you are in line at a grocery store, you kind of inch up and there's a guy right behind you. So there's a few tactics that I've used in the post office just yesterday. Mark, let's cue those up. They kind of come, so you're going to want to use your foot as a block and move your body away from the people in line. So if they keep creeping up, the idea is to separate yourself, and kind of the mentality is like if you're trying to steal second base, you want to keep your foot on first, just as an anchor, as we do. And let's zip through the different tactics we can use. There's one. You're going to get a little dirty, but it's better than touching the guy behind you. Let's keep zipping through. That's a good one. That's beyond my capability. Look how happy she is. I used this one in the post office yesterday. I really did. The guy kept creeping up. I kind of smelled what flavor of gum he had. I had to move myself. And then this is me in play, my jazzercise class, but I do employ some of the tactics in there. So again, if you guys are feeling like the guy that's creeping up behind you, you move up an inch, he moves up an inch and a quarter, you got to stop it that way. But that's, if you're tired of that, use these tactics. That's my Grant's Rants for today. What do you think?
And how can our viewers find out more about these techniques?
That's a lot.
Coming up in the next segment, here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Gabe Salazar. It was going to talk about his move growing up in Hawaii to San Diego and then ending up in the Southwest.
We're glad to have him.
He's a good kid, man. He's got a good story, and he's a good guy to know. And then obviously, stay tuned to the end of the show as we try and bring it all home with Skip's Tips.
Yeah, saving marriages.
This is the YouABQ podcast. Oh, welcome back to YouABQ. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
Oh, and we're joined in studio today by Gabe Salazar, born and raised in Maui, Hawaii. Gabe moved to Albuquerque by way of San Diego. Gabe is the morning anchor of Channel 4 News and self-proclaimed newsroom Swiss Army knife. He's also an Emmy Award nominated guy. And dude, our fans have just been asking, like, can you guys get more celebrities? I don't think it gets bigger than Gabe Salazar.
I've never seen it. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Gabe. Dude, I'm so glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah. It's always weird being on the receiving end of answering the questions because, I'm used to asking the questions, but I don't know if I can have any good answers.
We like to think we provide the Channel 96 hard-hitting questions that the public wants to know.
This is what the education channel is all about. But you've got a great backstory in the fact that Hawaii to San Diego, a couple other stops in between, but then ending up here in Albuquerque. And what people always ask me too is like, I lived in San Diego, and they go, how in the hell, what is that transition like coming from the beach to the desert?
I love it. What most people don't know with the news is they always ask why you move so often. So with the news, it's usually done by market size. So you usually start at the bottom of the totem pole and you work your way up. So I actually got to start off in news in San Diego, which I was very fortunate to do. And I was doing producing, writing. And I say I'm a Swiss Army knife because I've done literally all the positions in the newsroom. So started off as a writer, producer. And then my first on-air gig was in Yuma, Arizona. So I spent 2 years there. And then from Yuma, I moved to Fresno, California, and then made my way here to the land of enchantment. So I've been loving it here so far.
Let's take a minute and just talk shit about Yuma, because I've spent some time in Yuma.
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't have anything against it, but this will be a solo act.
You will. I'll go on record right now.
Yuma, they hate Canadians. How am I going to end up hating them?
I've told you this story about Yuma. So when I was playing pro ball, and very similar to you coming up, is like you start at the bottom, you kind of work your way up. But I was in the minor leagues, and we were playing in Yuma. And the team there was always so cranky because it's 130 degrees, it's hot, it's just like playing in front of a hairdryer all day, so we would always get into fights with them. And so I told you this story, is I got hit in the head, charged the mound in Yuma. So Yuma, you're still on my shit list. I'm not going to forget this, but bench clearing brawls, and so that's kind of my take of Yuma. It's hot,
okay. That's why Gabe got out of there, actually. He heard about this story. He goes, I want no part of this.
Yeah, I want to go to Albuquerque where it's safe.
Talk about the story real quick. I had told my teammates this when I had heard about, Skip told the story, we compared athlete stories, and there was a time where one of my players got hit, and it kind of sparked the conversation, like, are we going to take this? Look what happened to my guy. It was a guy, Nate, and broke his ankle. I'm like, are we going to take this? So he kind of inspired that. Yes. And it made Gabe leave. Thank goodness he's here. That's why.
He read my blog online. Talk a little bit about San Diego, though. San Diego has a piece of my heart. That's where I met my bride and brought her out to the desert. But how long were you in San Diego?
So I physically lived in San Diego for about 5 years. So my family had sold their home in Maui. I was born and raised there for most of my life. And then moved there for college in 2015. And so I was there until about 2020. And I love it there. Like, I live in the North County. It's beautiful. I think I like living there more than Hawaii, just because there's more things to do. If you want to get anywhere, it's literally a drive away. Such a diverse place too. Any food you could possibly want, you can find there. And of course the beaches and the weather too.
Well, we did some big time exploring and partying in San Diego when I was living there.
When Skip lived on Market Street, it was some of the best times of my life. And his wife worked at the Hard Rock. It was like a pass to everything. And thank God we weren't on air by then. Otherwise, we would have been yanked.
We would have been canceled.
You guys strike me as PB boys, though. Like, you definitely were out there till 1 a.m. partying in PB.
We were on sidewalks at one point pulling down street signs. That was me pulling down street signs at maybe 1 a.m. Skip was a little bit more behind behaved because he had a girlfriend that lived there and could give scorning.
There you go.
But that's crazy, man. So talk a little bit too about how you and I became friends, because
Yeah.
I know it's, people relocate to Albuquerque, they kind of look for guidance as far as what the hell is Albuquerque, what can we expect?
So yeah, like with every journalist moving to a new city, obviously I went on YouTube, searched up pros and cons of living in Albuquerque, and you see the typical Breaking Bad meth as far as the cons. But then you've also talked about just the beauty of living here in our state and in Albuquerque in the metro, how you feel the culture here too. And so that's what drew me to it. And also coming from California, especially the affordability of living here. I know some people might hate that I say that, but and that's all true ever since I moved here. Notice all of that. And I've been here for a little over a year now, and I've been loving it here in the Southwest.
That's great, because you started kind of Rio Rancho, the west side of Albuquerque, which I think is where a lot of the beginners start, dude.
That's not where I live.
And then,
okay,
and then you upped your game.
What's our
came
show
to the
called?
East side.
Okay.
Came to the east side of
guy
town,
doesn't know
bro.
his city limits, so we're in a new discussion.
No, I like living in Rio Rancho. I was there for
Very
a year.
nice of you, Gabe.
And then I moved to the Northeast just because I needed extra space, and I'm there now, and I love it. Like, there's more options for food.
Big food guy, and I follow you on social media. And if you guys don't have a chance to follow Gabe, man. What I love about people that move to New Mexico is that they actually take the time and explore. Like, we grew up here. You did Boy Scouts. You did some camping. You went up. You kind of explored when you're younger. But as an adult, when you have a fresh set of eyes. Talk about some of the cool places like the Jemez Springs, all the places. Although every time I log on, you're at a new place in Santa Fe or something.
No, yeah, I mean, especially moving here, like, I didn't know anyone, so I made it a goal of mine to visit at least one different place every weekend and strike a conversation with at least one stranger, just to get to know the community more.
I like that. You know what it occurs to me, and I'll tell you my perception of you. You're a down-to-earth guy, and I think that conveys and translates well when you're on camera. It looks like people go, that's a relatable guy. You know, I like him. There's not this separation. Some newscasters, not burning anybody, but it seems like there's this pedestal, and then they have their persona.
Oh,
but
for sure.
The guy that we see is the guy that's sitting here right now and walking around.
And I think that goes to my experience as a reporter, because I mean, when you go out and you interview someone, especially in breaking news, like, you're asking them to be vulnerable with you. So you need to make sure that they're comfortable to open up to you. You're meeting them at their most traumatic experiences and also their most joyful experiences, right? So you want to make sure that they're comfortable in speaking with you. You're asking them to be vulnerable with you. So you don't want to come up there and be so stiff and the robot saying, oh, tell me what happened at so-and-so time.
Yeah,
and
just leading the question into this answer that
So your
you
house
pigeonholed
burned down.
into. But let's talk about how you guys did a segment together on the news. So this is a regular, what's it, once a month or?
So I'm fortunate enough to join Gabe. He invited me to come talk real estate and give my spiel, my sort of grants, rants, my skips, tips in the morning. Just to give market updates, and one of my favorite times is just watching you and Danielle Tedesco, your co-host, in the morning. Now she's good, she's got a good story too in the fact that she's born and raised Albuquerque, had a chance to leave but stayed. So let's give Danielle a shout out. We want to get.
She's on next.
For sure.
Yeah, she's a fan favorite, but we got more requests for you to join our show, so we're happy that you're here today. Now, I know in Yuma, you probably saw some pretty wild stories. Talk about your Emmy Award nomination.
Yeah, so in Yuma, it's probably the best first market that any journalist can start out at, because, I mean, you're right by the border. So when I was there, I covered the humanitarian crisis a lot and also the opioid epidemic. So that made up a huge chunk of our coverage. And so the story that I was nominated for, though, was this Native American tribe. So their language is on the brink of losing their language, right? So this group was working to revive their culture through teaching the next generation of students the language, because there's only so many of the elderly in that generation left to teach the language. So they're talking about how they're preserving their culture through dance and classes that they do. So that was really cool to see, and just to see the effects of that.
That's an interesting take in the fact that a culture or language can be extinct, and not necessarily the people, but in a way the people do become extinct if they don't hang on to some of their customs and culture and language. So that's a neat story. And I think the thing that impacts me or impresses me is you talked about two different subjects in terms of immigration and opioid addiction, which is, I mean, a nationwide concentration. No matter what you feel, what side you're on, these are topics on people's mind come election, and that are prevalent in our culture, no matter where you live. Right?
It's crazy stuff. I used to joke around that I used to escape the heat by hiding in the cross-border tunnels. And we covered a bunch of those too. Like there was one time when I was doing this piece, it was an exclusive piece. Border Patrol found the most complex cross-border tunnel that they've seen in history. It even had plumbing. It had tracks where the cartels would push the drugs into Mexico, into the U.S., and it led to this abandoned Burger King. What? So, it was.
I knew that playground that there's never anyone in there except for me.
So did you ever get to see, like, I know they always do those big drug busts and stuff like that. Did you ever get to be in a room where there's actually like those mountains of cocaine, like kilos, and then like a stack of like $2 million?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, why are you asking this question?
In that story.
Do you have the key to
where
that
is
room?
it exactly?
Haven't been behind the scenes, but like you see the pictures. They
Yeah.
take the pictures, and it's crazy when you see the stash that they have.
Can I do a Grant rant on this? It's always like they take it and they go street value by the last dealer sells it on there, and it's probably like whatever amount, and then it's become $7 trillion. $7 trillion worth of street drugs. I think that's kind of a sensationalism that the police use.
No, of course.
End of rant. So talk about the most interesting story you've done that you came across that wasn't, I guess, premeditated.
Okay.
Because I know in Albuquerque, let's talk Albuquerque specifically. Like, what do you recall? What your first story was when you moved to town? Like, kind of your entree into the madness that is the Duke City.
So the story that definitely had the most impact for me was there was this family who they lived in a mobile home. It's a grandma and two of her grandkids. They had just moved to that mobile home, and it caught fire overnight. So they lost literally everything. And so I went over to the home the next day, interviewed the grandma, interviewed the two kids, talked about that this is like their livelihood. And literally a few seconds after we aired that story on our show, we got an outpouring of support from our viewers saying, like, how can we donate and help this family out? And we literally raised more than it was in the thousands, either $2,000 to $4,000, and then deliver that money to the family. So since then, they were able to rebuild. They were able to get the rubble out of the lot, and now they're doing okay. So I mean, that's why journalists do what they do, is to help make a difference and help to make the city that they live in a better place.
It's a cool story. I was about to ask you, what is the story that created the most joy, or like after, but you covered that as a compound result. That's what is the biggest surprise? What's the biggest surprise of Albuquerque? And good, besides the outpouring of help. Like, what did you go, oh my God, I had no idea Albuquerque had fill in the blank?
Well, I think the most surprising thing for me was just how warm and welcoming everyone was, especially when I first moved. It is difficult, especially for viewers, to get used to a new anchor, a new talent coming in. And ever since I moved here, I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from everyone, which is pretty rare, because the last few stations I've had a lot of hate mail.
Stupid Yuma! I
told you, Yuma's
Yuma,
an armpit.
tuning in. Gabe's kind of like a teddy bear, man. How could he not be well received?
Hang out in our comment section. We get roasted, dude, especially on my other
can
YouTube
you
channel.
just take each other out and just have Gabe and for now on? Just phase us out?
That's great. Well, I'm glad you're getting love here in Albuquerque, because I know, a lot of times we fear change here, and we fear, outsiders coming in, especially from California. California has such a bad stigma. But we're always big proponents of bringing new blood, new faces, new money into our city. And I think that's kind of the goal of this show, pretty much, is to uplift and shine a light on the good parts of New Mexico.
Well, I would say some of our favorite food, guys, are pokey, like that's an infusion of people being from the outside, right? I mean, that's a Hawaiian culture thing that's been brought here. Some of my favorite foods are hybrid, right? With the Korean influx of food in that hybrid is wonderful food. So again, don't fear change. It's brought some of our best dishes to New Mexico, right?
What do they have? Two Were you talking about two-handed corn dogs? Is that a place?
Two hands corn dogs. Yeah,
Handed. It's just this thing like a corn on the cob. You just have to ride it like a bike. I like where you're going with that. Let's talk about that. The skip flub. Two-handed.
I'm not sure where the name came from, but they're good.
What is it? What's the deal?
Put the two hands on top of each other, and then now you can eat it. Go ahead, but you got to eat it slowly, and you got to look in the camera.
Okay, this show has gone off the tracks.
Oh shit!
Was it on the tracks?
But yeah, good food here.
Well, Gabe, do you want to touch on any cool stories or anything you guys have planned coming up? I know the morning news is you guys really start early over there, and I always commend you because
they do start early. I have insomnia, and I was going to bed at 4:30, and I thought to myself, Gabe's up. So when does he get up to go get ready for the show? Holy smokes!
My alarm clock is set at 1:45 a.m.
Are you running on fumes right now? It's like your 4 p.m. like our
I'm doing
Skip's 10
dinner
p.m.
time right now.
Yeah,
this is dinner time for you.
Yeah, like around 1:30 to 2:30.
When do you go to bed?
I try to go to bed at 7.
Just
to be
blowing
safe.
my mind.
Yeah.
Is there any times you
curtains.
get crazy and stay up at 8 till 8?
Oh yeah, and you definitely see that the next day. But so I like it because it gives me the chance to do anything I want. Like after the shift is over, I can go to the gym, take care of whatever. And then Fridays I just power through, and it's like I have a 3-day weekend, so that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't work on the weekends. You're not in studio.
No,
do you do a
off
lot
on
of
the
your
weekends.
stuff? And I guess I should know this too. I know primarily you're the anchor, but I know that you do some stories outside of the studio.
So after our live show, I'm usually turning a story for our evening shows. So that's why I'm usually out in the field after our live shows.
I like to thank him too. He got me on, and we talked about Fannie Mae's new loan level adjustments for rates and such. So thank you for the opportunity. He is good on the field too.
Yeah, he's always making a difference. Gabe, dude, we appreciate you kind of shedding some knowledge on us, the outsider's perspective on New Mexico and Albuquerque as well. And keep up the good work. I still think that you are slightly better than Danielle. I don't want to say that on
How
the
are we going
record.
to get her on the show now? The way I don't feel that way.
kidding.
I feel like you're very nice too, and you do a great job. You're a great duo with our teddy bear.
You're not
so
here to
thank
defend yourself, Danielle, but either way, no, you're a fan favorite on all media. So
Yeah.
we appreciate it. Here's where you're going to want to stay tuned to our last segment. We're going to wrap up, but everybody knows what time it is. It's time for
REM sleep.
Skip's Tips. Stay tuned.
Season 4, Epi 1, Segment 3. That's how it's going to be. Thank you, Gabe, for coming on. We had kind of a guys' night out. That was a good conversation. Now we're going to transition into the much-awaited, anticipated Skip's Tips.
Oh, as you know, Skip's Tips are anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun, whether that's in real estate or in real life. Timing the market as a seller makes all the difference. Hitting the market at the right time will really stack the deck in your favor. Here's what I mean. Interest rates are starting to come down, which means more buyers are entering the market. And inventory remains low. So what we're seeing is buyer competition is going to be at a frenzy. Hitting the market at the right time is going to put you in the best position. When you have multiple buyers competing, you as a seller are going to get the best terms and the highest price, making it a win-win for you. I've developed a hassle-free process for selling your home for top dollars. Want to know what your property's worth? Leave a comment in the section below. And remember, great service in our industry can be very expensive. But did you know bad service will cost you a fortune? Share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Well, that was a great piece of information and fluid. You're just rattling them off like you know in the back of your hand. And I like it when you talk about stacking the deck, but don't ever let anyone see your hand or see your deck.
I showed my deck to my neighbor,
And
well,
now he's on the offenders list.
now I'm on the news.
Yeah. Season 4, congrats, man.
Hey, I'm proud of you, buddy. You
I'm
really
proud
made
of
it
you.
through.
You know what? I woke up and I was proud of you. I'm proud of us. We did it again, and we're going to keep climbing, and we're going to keep spitting out episodes. Great guest today. Happy with Gabe. And you got some little chum time, right? Guys, night out, spring break.
Every Wednesday night, Sunday morning here on the University channel. What are we on?
The University channel.
On the Education channel.
On QVC, where
Here
you
on
can buy the
ESPN.
items you like. This is for sale, $150 out the door. To the tune of.
This is all about you, ABQ.
To the tuna.
Season 4.
You're watching YouABQ.